Today in crypto, Bitcoin dominance is looking to fall even further. Does this mean that we are on the verge of a major altcoin cycle? Trillions of dollars in bonds are getting tokenized onto Ethereum. The US feds are laundering Bitcoin, and billions of dollars in capital is ready to flood into the markets. Get ready, because it is going to be an exciting 2020. Now, before I break all of that down for you, if you are trading in the current market, then you need to check out 3 Commas. It is an essential tool for helping you to make the most of your trades. It allows you to set advanced buy, sell, and stop options to maximize profits. 3 Commas has personally helped me to get the best out of my trades on a lot of different occasions. There is a link down below which you can click on to get signed up. That link will also give you a 10% discount on any plans, and you can also get a free trial to be able to go and test out the service to see if it is something that you do want to purchase. I will also leave a link to a tutorial that I did in case you need more information on 3 Commas and how it works. Okay, so let's turn over to the charts, and today I want to look at Bitcoin dominance. Now, a lot of the things that we've been keeping an eye on with Bitcoin are currently holding at the moment. You know, we're staying nice about the 200-day moving average and all that fun kind of stuff. So we're going to look at something a little bit different today, because I think what is happening with the dominance of Bitcoin and the rise of altcoins is something very interesting and worth talking about. So Bitcoin dominance is currently down at 66% of the total cryptocurrency market. Now that is about 7.5% down since topping out in September. Dominance is testing a key level of support right now. Now, if it falls below this line, then I'd be looking for support at around 60%, which is the orange line you can see on the chart here. Now, the important thing to underline here is that this is not to say that the price of Bitcoin will go down from here. No, it's not what it means at all. The price of Bitcoin can increase significantly, while at the same time, Bitcoin dominance goes down. It means that altcoins are going to be absorbing more value than Bitcoin. Further evidence for a continued decline in dominance is this descending triangle, which is of course a bearish pattern. And as you can see, we have recently broken below this triangle. So we might be in for some more bearish action. Now the good news is that this could be really, really good for altcoins, and we may be seeing even further gains for an altcoin market which has had a rough couple of years. And the last few weeks, of course, have been really good for altcoins. You've seen lots of really, really insane gains happening for altcoins. But does all of that actually mean that we are on the verge of another altcoin season? Well, indicators are pointing to yes, and it's not just about Bitcoin dominance. We can see here that the total market cap of crypto, excluding Bitcoin, is closing in on a golden cross. Now, the last time that the 50-period moving average crossed over the 200-period moving average was back in April 2019, which of course was a great time for altcoins in general. And the time before that was early 2016, which set in motion the events that would lead to the 2017 bull run. Also noteworthy here is that we are sitting very comfortably above the 200-day moving average on that chart, which, as we know, is definitely an indicator of a positive longer-term market trend. So get ready to strap yourselves in if you are trading and accumulating altcoins, because we might be ready to see some very serious price action coming up here in the next months. But what do you think? Is alt season finally here again? Are you trading altcoins right now? If so, which ones and why? Let me know down below. Also, I have one more chart for you, and this one's it's all about data though, just for fun. Bitcoin transferred $3.5 billion worth of on-chain value yesterday. That's wild. And noteworthy, that is a high that we have not seen since the crazy times of 2017 and early 2018. Okay, now on to our big stories for today. U.S. Marshals will be auctioning off around $40 million worth of Bitcoin this month. The auction will take place with registered bidders competing for divided lots from a total of 4,000 Bitcoin. Now look, the Fed's auctioning off Bitcoin, this is actually nothing new or actually particularly noteworthy in of itself, but this story actually did get me thinking a little bit. This essentially, the Fed's selling the Bitcoin to somebody else, this essentially washes that Bitcoin. It launders it and makes it clean. I mean, just the fact that, it's the Feds selling the Bitcoin, that's just the stamp of approval, isn't it? This Bitcoin is clean and ready for business. Funny how it works. Now, essentially, this is making that Bitcoin back into virgin Bitcoin, so re-virginifying this Bitcoin. Virgin Bitcoin, in case you didn't know, is freshly mined Bitcoin that has no history except for being created from the block reward. And it's usually bought directly from mining pools, and has been very popular due to the fact that provenance is provable. They know exactly where the Bitcoin came from, and it removes any risks due to the kind of non-fungible nature of Bitcoin. Because the rise of advanced blockchain analysis tools and chain analysis firms has meant that it is now possible to trace the transaction history of Bitcoins and other different cryptocurrencies. And also the individuals who use them. Companies and funds, they can't take the risk of buying Bitcoin that might have been used for something like, a ransomware attack on a school or a dark web killing. I mean, that stuff's incredibly niche, incredibly rare, but it does happen. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting story, so some food for thought for you. Now, moving on to our next story. Ethereum development studio Consensys has announced the acquisition of Heritage Financial Systems. This is an American broker-dealer. Now, they are particularly doing this in a bid to tokenize the $3.8 trillion municipal bond market. I mean, municipal bonds, right? Just makes you go. But hey, that's a lot of money regardless. And look, blockchain, particularly Ethereum, can really improve this really traditional financial market area. And municipal bonds, in case you don't know, are actually debt securities which are sold by state institutions over to investors, and they sell these bonds to raise capital for things like schools and roads and, dams and whatever else that the state might want to be building. Now, unsurprisingly, this entire asset class is plagued by super outdated, super inefficient processes. Surprise! Another industry totally ripe for disruption from blockchain. Anyway, this move by Consensys will be a really big step towards reducing the friction and reducing the fees and increasing transparency and really bringing this rather opaque and clunky asset class into the modern era. And of course, the opportunity is massive if Consensys gets this right. We're just talking about municipal bonds, which are $3.8 trillion, but the bonds market overall is massive and is a giant piece of the puzzle in what is being built in what is really a reinvention of the entire global architecture of finance, which we see happening right now on Ethereum and other public blockchains. And finally for today, billions of dollars in capital is getting ready to flood into the crypto markets. Well, maybe. And no, I'm not talking about the story that has been kind of doing the rounds this week about the $6 billion in stablecoins ready to buy up Bitcoin. I mean, hey, that's an important story. That's super interesting. And that's also definitely a factor in the coming run for crypto. But those stablecoins are a tool. What I'm talking about new money being put on the table. In 2019, crypto funds, the ones that survived the massacre of 2018 anyway, outperformed traditional hedge funds by 6%. 6%, by the way, is massive for the traditional asset world. I know 6% in crypto are like, that's so boring. But anyway, hedge funds at this stage are largely not into Bitcoin. But in the coming years, a hedge fund which is not in Bitcoin will be at a significant disadvantage being in Bitcoin will be a near necessity for these organizations. And now look, private equity funds, they've been way more open to Bitcoin and to crypto assets as a whole compared to hedge funds. But check out this headline from CNBC because I think it really just underlines how much money is sitting out there. The private equity funds, they are sitting on $1.5 trillion in cash. 1.5 trillion, man. Hedge funds are sitting on what is likely to be an incredibly substantial amount of cash as well. I mean, they've got more than $3 trillion in assets under management, although their cash position specifically is not clear. Also, according to UBS, high net worth individuals are up to 30% in cash, which is an incredible amount of cash because this small group of individuals control more than $30 trillion worth of wealth globally. Again, definitive numbers are hard to come by exactly whether it's going to be 30% or not for all of that 30 trillion. Hard to say, but there is a mind-boggling amount of money sitting on the sidelines that could be brought into Bitcoin. Even 1%, just 1% of that buying Bitcoin, those people getting off zero, that would be massive. And that takes me back to the original point. Bitcoin is outperforming all of these traditional funds. Bitcoin is outperforming the stock markets. Bitcoin is obviously crushing bonds, especially the bonds that are now in negative interest rate areas. The asymmetric risk reward for Bitcoin right now is loco, man. It's crazy. How is anyone still ignoring it? And look, these groups are not going to be able to continue to ignore it much longer. They won't be able to sit on zero forever. At some point, they're going to have to get in. And in a portfolio of, bonds and stocks and stuff like this, even a 1% allocation has been proven to greatly increase gains while only presenting a very, very small potential downside. Bitcoin has already received massive social proof for these serious investors. The only question now is for them to take the leap, and we have Grayscale and the Winklevoss twins and Bakkt and all these other guys who are big time into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is becoming another part of the investment world in a very significant way. And while the funds and the high net worth types, they can be more flexible in terms of their investments, so we're likely to see more money coming in from them, the big banks shouldn't be counted out either. In terms of the banks, they're exclusively almost all sitting on the sidelines when it comes to crypto. Oh, sure, there's some dabbling, a bond on Ethereum there, a partnership with Ripple over here. But sooner or later, the banks are going to get on board too. And look, I'm saying that as an inevitable fact. I'm not like, yeah, the banks are coming on, man, woo, yeah. No, quite the opposite. I'm not excited about banks getting into crypto at all. But it's happening, like it or not. We already have some small banks in Europe, for example, that are talking about storing your Bitcoin for you. No thank you, bank. No, but it's happening. And when the banks come in, of course, the price of Bitcoin will go sky high. Why? Because there is no depth to the rotting pits of fiat. Remember always, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. And there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin. This is why we stack sats and then chill. Don't forget the chillin' part, guys. Some people stack sats and then get all flustered and stuff. You gotta remember the second part. Remember to chill, guys. Remember to chill. Namaste, life. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today. Seriously, your support means everything, so just thank you so much for taking the time out here today. Come over here and check out this video. Listen to what this dude talking about cryptocurrency on the internet has to say. I would love to know your thoughts on any of today's stories. What do you think about alt season? Are we coming back? Is it about to happen or is it already happening? And definitely let me know what you think about the big money coming into crypto. If you did enjoy today's video, the thumbs up button, guys. You know the deal. And subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Long live the blockchain. Peace out till next time.